Hi, how you going? We're joined today by Kate Wall. She has graciously invited us into her garden and we're going to be talking about edible weeds today. So thank you for joining us, Kate. First of all, maybe we can get Kate to just say a bit about what she does for a living.
Thanks, Sarah, and welcome into my garden. I have a passion for gardening, full stop, as you can see.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
But edible weeds in particular are one of my favourite topics.
Mm-hmm.
Reason being, they're easy to grow. They do it all for you. There's no slaving over the veggie patch when it comes to weeds. They do it all for you.
So true.
And I am a full-time self-employed, gardening, consulting, workshops, writing, all of that sort of thing. So I don't have a lot of spare time. I also have a family to raise.
Yes.
It's so growing vegetables is not something I have time for.
True.
Fresh food and good health is something we all need to have time for. That's
Totally.
really critical. So anything that makes life easy that way, I'm up for.
Yeah.
And weeds makes that easy.
Absolutely, yeah, totally agree. And I can vouch for your workshops. I've been to one. It was
Thank you,
great. Shah was the chef on the day and she was fantastic. And and I've got to say, like, there's really no difference between store-bought lettuce and some of the weeds that we had on the day, you know?
In actual fact, I think there's a huge difference, but I love the fact that you didn't see it.
True, yeah.
The importance is that we buy these greens assuming that they're fresh and assuming that they're good nutritional quality. Most of the time they're neither. But we have an idea of what greens should taste like. And most of the weeds fit very comfortably within that taste spectrum.
Yeah, true.
So that for most of them it's not a shock to the taste buds.
Fantastic. All right, well, I thought today, sorry, there's a truck going past, might just wait a sec.
The joys of suburbia.
I know. And you couldn't tell that you're in suburbia right now. Your garden is just amazing and full and green and lush. So I thought today we would just talk about a few specific edible weeds that most people can probably find in their own garden.
Sure, yeah.
So if you want to maybe take it away and bring out a couple and we'll go through each one.
As it happens, I have a couple right.
Oh, prepared earlier.
That's right. So here in the subtropics in Brisbane, it's late winter. Spring is starting to kick in. So what we've got to keep in mind is that weeds favour different conditions and different times of year. So at different times of year we'll have different weeds around. One of the ones that is very prevalent right now is chickweed. So this is a very pretty little weed. It likes moist conditions. So it grows here in winter. In cooler climates, this will grow through their summers. For us it's a winter annual. It's also indicative of fairly good soil, meaning that it has shallow roots that it's easy to weed out.
Okay.
But this one, have a taste. This is actually so easy to eat. You could use this instead of lettuce to create a whole salad.
It even is so mild, like it even just tastes like lettuce.
It does.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's
in fact,
obviously fresh because you've just picked it.
I've just picked it out of the garden.
Yeah.
So it's completely fresh, grown with no inputs whatsoever, no fertilisers or pesticides or anything like that. Chickweed is really high in minerals.
Okay.
So it's a really good thing to add to our diet. What they're finding with chickweed, and a lot of these weeds, we have to reiterate, are ancient food plants, ancient medicinal plants, but modern science is starting to confirm those nutritional values and those health supporting values. Now chickweed is one that we use predominantly for skin conditions.
Really? Okay.
So you can use it externally and rub it on or make a poultice with it.
Okay.
But just eating it is going to improve our skin. It's very, very good for your skin. What it also does is improve circulation.
Okay.
So very, very good for improving your circulatory system and obviously improving circulation and improves your skin.
Well, it's always helpful.
You know, these things are all connected.
Yeah, absolutely.
So chickweed is one that I suggest you look for when it's in season and eat it abundantly while it's fresh.
It's beautiful.
And it tastes delicious. You can cook it if you want to, but I love eating this one raw.
Just
so
like
it goes
in
on
salads and-
salads, sandwiches,
Yeah.
even on
Beautiful.
pizzas.
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
Nice.
Now, one of
Lovely.
the things I do want to point out is that little piece that you're holding has a flower.
Yes.
So that little white flower is important with the identification.
Okay.
So you know you're eating the right thing.
And there are some that I've found around my place, but they're quite sticky. Are they different?
That is a different one. It comes under various different common names. The mouse-eared chickweed, tropical chickweed. It's not a chickweed and it's not an edible.
Okay. All right.
It's
Cool.
just a nuisance, really.
Good to know. I won't eat that one.
No, don't eat that one. Eat this
Beautiful.
one. Now, winter is a time of coughs and colds.
Yes.
It's
Absolutely.
absolute classic, isn't it?
Yes.
We have weeds for that.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favourites is this one here. This is plantain.
I do like plantain.
Yes. So plantain, this is the narrow leaf plantain, which grows predominantly in warm climates.
Okay.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
In cooler climates, you'll get the broadleaf plantain.
Okay.
There's also a whole range of native plantain, which have tiny little leaves.
Okay.
They all have the same properties.
Okay, yeah. I was
So
just
they
wondering.
can all be eaten. They have these seed heads, which are very, very high in soluble fibre.
Really? Okay. Interesting.
Really. So in fact, these of all plants, this is the highest in soluble fibre,
Beautiful.
which is why they use it to make Metamucil.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Okay.
next time you buy a bottle of Metamucil, look on the label and you'll see it's psyllium,
Okay. So, okay.
yep,
Yeah.
which is plantain.
Oh, fantastic. Fascinating.
Exactly. So your wheat plantain, you can also use these seed heads and crumble it onto your muesli to get the
Do you have
fibre.
to dry them first?
No,
Or
you
is
can
it
put
just
them on fresh.
Yeah. Okay.
Completely fresh. There's very good fibre in these leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a few helpers
Yeah, we've
here.
got some helpers. They wanted to be on camera, obviously.
That's right. Exactly. Now the older leaves of plantain get a bit fibrous.
So, not so nice.
Not so nice, but still good for making a cup of tea.
Okay.
Or for putting into something that you're cooking, like a curry or a stew or things like that. The younger leaves have a beautiful nutty sort of flavour, and I love them in salads. Now plantain has got a lot of health benefits as well.
Quite true.
I mentioned coughs and colds. Plantain supports the respiratory system.
Nice.
So this is the time of year we really want to strengthen up the respiratory
Yeah,
system.
absolutely.
So this is one that I use a lot of as part of keeping the family healthy through winter.
Okay. And is that just through teas and...
Through eating it, I believe in the food as your medicine.
Yes.
So I like to incorporate this into our diet. If we start getting a bit under the weather with a cold, then we make teas to support that.
Okay.
So,
but like, it's quite, it's not quite as light as the chickweed. So
Not
would
as
you
light.
be like cooking that? Do you still get the benefits if you cook it?
most definitely.
Okay. All right.
Most definitely. Vitamin C is lost very quickly in cooking, which is why we need some of these fresh. But a lot of the other vitamins, and in particular the mineral content, is not lost.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and of course there are a lot of phytochemicals, which means chemicals made by plants. And all of these different compounds are altered by cooking in some way,
Yes, yeah.
but we still are getting such a wonderful nutrition hit.
Yes. Okay.
It's still giving
Yeah, I
us
was wondering
enormous
about
benefit.
that. Yeah. Fantastic.
When it comes to coughs and colds, I have my 3 favourite weeds for dealing with coughs and colds.
Yeah.
This is one because of the way it supports the immune system,
Yes.
the respiratory system. This one here is Siderotusa. That's the second one. This one here supports mucous membranes in particular. So very good when your sinuses and your nasal
And is that
passages
like
are.
it's stimulating the mucous membrane to
It's anti-inflammatory,
Okay.
so it calms down the inflammation
Yep. Okay.
and settles everything
nice.
down,
Yeah.
which is really good.
Wonderful.
My third, and these 3 go together in a cup of tea beautifully, is cobbler's pegs.
Okay.
Cobbler's pegs is massively antimicrobial.
Wow. Okay.
So there's your antibiotic,
Yes.
there's your anti-inflammatory, there's your respiratory support.
Wow.
Put all this
Beautiful.
together and you have immense immune support
Wonderful.
for hot and cold season.
Fantastic. And so, like, again, like, you don't have to dry the leaves or anything like that.
Not
You
at
can
all.
Just put them
I
straight
very
into a
rarely
cup of tea.
dry anything.
Okay.
I pick it straight from the garden, put it straight in the pot.
Well, I guess it's abundant in the garden, so why not?
And there is a theory that nature provides what you need. So if it's there and it's abundant, you probably ought to be consuming some of it. It's probably an indicator that it's what you need right now.
That's right. Yeah, I've also heard that. Yeah. Wonderful.
So, and interesting that copper's pegs is such a nuisance weed at a time in our life where we're overusing antibiotics.
Right. That's
We
fantastic.
pull right back on the antibiotics
Yes.
and start using some of these.
Yes.
It is actually undergoing scientific trials for use against the antibiotic resistant superbugs.
Okay. Yeah.
Think about it like this, there's over 100 different phytochemicals in copper's pegs.
Yes.
It's not going to be easy to get resistance to such a broad spectrum of different chemicals. Whereas those chemicals are together, working together
Yes.
to do us a lot of good.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So that's what I encourage people to eat. Now, I eat the young leaves of this in salad quite happily. This is looking a little wilted at the moment, but I eat the young leaves in salad. The flowers are edible, so the flowers go into salads.
Well, it's quite nice salad. Actually, it tastes a bit like spinach.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a stronger flavour than the chickweed,
Yeah.
but like you
That's
said,
still nice.
yeah. The older leaves are great for making a tea or into anything that you will cook green food in.
Yeah. Lovely. And the flowers? Can you eat those? Or?
Certainly, you can eat those. Flowers are very good for treating infections in the mouth.
Okay.
So yeah, wherever you have,
Antifungal kind of.
eat the
properties,
flowers.
yeah.
Yep.
Wonderful.
This one here is Sideretusa.
Okay.
This is a deep-rooted weed. So that deep taproot annoys gardeners because it's so hard to pull out. However, what we need to realise is it's doing our soil the world of good. That deep taproot is breaking through compacted soils. So doing our soils a lot of good. It's bringing a lot of nutrient up from deep in the soil.
Okay.
So it's a nutrient-rich plant. This one here, the Europeans used it for soothing mucous membranes.
Okay.
So sinus,
Is that the
reproductive
inflammation,
system.
or
Yes,
is
it
that so it's
soothes
like
inflammation.
kind of cools everything down, does it?
That's exactly what it does.
Okay.
Yes. So everything's calmed down. It also works on the gut. Because again, that those mucus linings. The Aboriginals, the Australian Aboriginals, use this to treat diarrhea.
All right.
It's really effective. Super effective. Anybody with small kids needs to grow this. Seriously. Seriously. Been there, done that.
Of course, though, because where I live, like, our clay content in our soil is like really high, so that is not going to be liking the clay.
Gonna love it. Love
Really?
those heavy
Okay.
compacted soils. That's what that taproot
really?
is doing.
Okay.
It's breaking into those heavy soils.
And is that good also then for that soil
Very
to like
good. Very good
aerate
for
those-
opening the soil.
All right. Awesome.
Definitely. So it soothes diarrhea. Just a couple of leaves on your way out the door when everybody's got a funny tummy,
Yeah.
and you'll be fine.
Wow. Okay.
Indeed.
Beautiful.
That's that one.
That's that one.
Now this one here, the interesting thing about this is in the mallow family. The mallow family includes your marshmallows. It includes your hibiscuses.
And is this marshmallows that people would associate with like the kind
sweet?
of, the sweet marshmallows?
Definitely, because the sweet of the marshmallow was developed from the marshmallow plant by the ancient Egyptians.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
So there is a link.
There is a link.
Also in that family are what we call the mallows. This one here is common mallow. There's no flowers on this at the moment, but there are seeds.
Yeah.
See the cheese wheel shape of the seeds?
Yeah. Okay.
Now, one of the common names is cheese wheel weed. All of the mallows have this distinctive cheese wheel seed.
Okay.
When you see that, you know it's a mallow and it's safe and it's edible.
Okay. Fantastic.
One of the wonderful things about the mallows is they have this ability to give huge immune support.
Okay.
So this has been known for thousands of years as the immune support curve.
Beautiful.
So that if you incorporate this into your diet, you're less likely to come down with anything at all. So,
And I know, like with the marshmallow plant, it's often the marshmallow root that people are after. Like with this, is it the leaves? Is
The
it
leaves, the seeds,
so
the
it is
flowers,
slightly different
the entire
kind of
thing.
situation?
So the entire
Okay.
plant is edible. The
All right.
entire plant is very good for you.
Yeah.
The seeds, you need to get them at this nice green phase, and you can put them into risottos and
Oh, fantastic.
porridge and things like that to give a nice nutty sort of flavour.
Okay.
Of course. And then, of course, if you're eating seeds in your diet, you're getting more of those natural oils into your diet, which are really important. Not really a lot of flavour there.
Not really a lot of flavour. I was expecting a hit of something.
No, not a lot.
No.
Which means that more than anything, they're very inoffensive to add to a meal.
Fantastic. And you're getting the nutrients, so it's kind of like, you
And
just don't even know it.
That's exactly right. So the more that we put into our diet of all of these different things, you can see they're all contributing something a little bit different.
Yes.
Whatever's available is what we use to put into our diet to support our overall health and well-being, but to also just provide us with fresh, healthy food.
Beautiful. And that's the aim of the game, I guess.
That's exactly
is
right.
to have healthy families,
That's
kids
exactly
going to
right.
school instead of staying at home.
And now all of these are weeds.
Yes.
These are not
That is.
things that we've cultivated. These are weeds that have been growing on the side of the road, in the garden, wherever we find them.
Yes.
I've done nothing to propagate these. I've just let them grow in the garden because I've got nothing to lose by having them there and everything to gain.
And quite often the flowers are quite pretty as well, so it adds colour
Of course it does.
to the garden. So
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
Definitely.
Fantastic. Great.
So there's just a snippet to
Oh.
whet your appetite.
I know, we didn't even start talking about stinging nettles or anything like that. So
Oh look, there's hundreds
Oh
of
my
weeds we
goodness.
could talk about.
There is, there really
And
is.
like I said, different times of the year there'll be
Yeah.
different weeds around, different soil conditions will have different weeds.
Yes.
I encourage everyone to go and learn about your weeds.
And also just finishing off maybe, just if you could talk a little bit about harvesting weeds. Is there any way you shouldn't take them from, like location-wise?
If you're wild foraging, you definitely need to be careful.
Okay.
I suggest to everybody the safest place to harvest weeds is your own garden because you know exactly what's happened.
Okay.
You know where the pollution is, you know what you've sprayed,
Yes.
you know where your dog's gone to the toilet, all those sorts of things. Out there in the wide world, you don't know any of that.
It's true.
There certainly is something to being able to recognise how healthy an area is. Roadsides is a place to avoid because they will accumulate heavy metals. And we don't want that. So do avoid roadsides. Public spaces, parks and things like that are often sprayed, but you will see if we've had rain recently, for example, if the weeds are looking really lush, there's no yellowing, there's no reddening, so there's no colour change, they're looking lush and healthy, we've had recent rain, they're usually quite safe. So there are certainly some things to look out for.
And I guess as well, like with weed identification, you want to know that you're not eating something you shouldn't be.
Now, with weed identification, yes, that is important. There are not a lot of weeds that are going to cause us harm,
Okay.
but there's certainly a couple that will. Our body has this very natural defense system where if something tastes nasty,
Yes.
we tend to spit it out.
True.
Rely on that. If your first reaction is to spit it out because it tastes nasty, that may well be because you're just adjusting to a new flavour, but it could also be because it's extremely bitter because it's poisonous.
Okay.
So if your mouth is reacting, yes, you get a nasty taste in your mouth, but that stops you swallowing and poisoning yourself.
Yes.
So it's our body's
Absolutely.
own safety
Natural
mechanism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And you've also got some photos of some weeds on your website that people can have a
I
look at as well?
certainly do,
Okay.
yes. So there's a whole lot of edible weed photos on my website, katewall.com.au.
Cool. And I'll put it in the comments too if
Thank
you
you.
want to have a look at Kate's website.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you again for joining us today, Kate. It's been a pleasure to sit in this beautiful garden.
Oh, you're always welcome,
Beautiful
Sarah.
day. Thank you. Who would know it's winter, right?
That's exactly
Winter
right.
in Brisbane.
Isn't this gorgeous?
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you and have a beautiful day.
You too. Thank you,
And
Sarah.
everyone out there, have a beautiful day too. See you next time.